All right. Good to go. We are live.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Arm Wrestling Showcase number 21. You all know our host, Kane Fontecchio with Alpha Empire Arm Wrestling, and myself, Josh Edwards with Nowhere to Run. Today, we have some special guests. We're going to be talking to the competitors at this week's event at the Kraken at Grinder Gym. These are the guys that are having super matches this weekend. We got Jake Collins, Tony Thomlison, Brandon Allen, Ronnie Vega, Sierra Brown, and I think we have Russel Stark as well on here, right?
Yeah, he should be getting in here. Let's see if I can. I think Ronnie just popped in, but yeah, they'll be popping in. We should have Paul coming in at some point too. Good to have you all on here. What's up? Hey, so Jake has 2 matches, and yeah, I think so far both of your competitors are not on here.
They're both scared. They're scared already, bro.
Is that what's happening?
No, I wouldn't think so. They're just not technologically adept. Well, they're arm wrestlers, man. They're not rocket scientists.
Whoever iPhone is, let's just click that video button down at probably the bottom left. Send you a little invite to get your video going. So, Mr. Brandon Allen, you just popped in. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on. You've got a big rematch, it looks like, coming up with Mr. Paul Stevens.
Yeah, it's I took some time off there and I'm getting back in the swing of things. So coming back in, I said I wanted a couple easy matches. Paul was an obvious choice for an easy match. And then after that, there's a few other local guys who I'll be going after, but got to start with Paul. Got to redeem that loss. This time I'm not going to be coming in at 232 pounds, which if you guys know me, I'm not 232. But I promised I would make weight at the LA Fit Expo, and I did. And, no excuses. Paul whipped my ass. But this time there was no weight limit. So I was like, all right, when I show up at 300 pounds, don't be fucking surprised. And, well, I'm 296 pounds right now, so we'll be ready.
Wow. Okay. So the plan is you're just coming in bigger and stronger. Do you have any different tricks or ideas up your sleeve that you're planning to roll out on Saturday?
I promise. Everyone kind of knows what I'm going to do. Paul, like last time I told Paul, I knew I was fucked right when we got on the table and I gripped. Like I was just so depleted and his hand felt so strong. And I was like, God, this is going to be a long day. I've mainly just been working on my hand. I would say the last 6 months or more of what I've really been primarily focused on. And, the general strength and things like that. I think that carries a huge role in the arm wrestling. I'd be lying if I said I was like feeling like 100% or if I, wasn't dealing with injuries. We're always dealing with injuries. That's strength sports. But again, I feel like I'm in enough shape to where I think it'll be a good match with me and Paul. I don't think it's going to be. I think the score is going to reflect pretty bad. I think it's I'm going to beat Paul pretty well, but I think it'll be a good fight the first round.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And that is an interesting fact. I mean, a lot of us that compete often, you rarely do come in feeling tip top. But for me, it's kind of strange. I don't know if it's the same for any of you guys, but a lot of the times when I kind of don't feel tip top or something's a little hurt or whatever, I usually do better. When I go in feeling like, oh man, everything feels great, oftentimes I kind of suck it up.
Yeah, I've hit a lot of PRs pretty hungover, so that makes sense.
It's like you need that little bit of adversity or struggle to really come in and fight.
Or maybe it's just the extra calories from the beer, but either way.
Okay, all right. So yeah, it looks like it is Ronnie Vega who was just coming in. Can we get a little audio check, Ronnie? How you doing?
Yeah, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yo. All right, cool.
Looking massive, bro.
Big Ronnie.
Good.
So how you feeling, Ronnie?
I'm feeling good. I mean, no injuries. So, the injuries, really, in arm wrestling really gives you a lot of setback, that's everybody. So I got 0 injuries. So I'm feeling stronger than shit right now. My
I love it.
stars are really good right now. Really happy with myself, getting back to where it kind of was, a couple years back. So yeah, I've been feels good being pain free actually. So
Oh,
yeah.
boy. You feeling intimidated, Jake?
That means he's gonna do terrible, man. He's feeling good. Terrible, bro. Nah, man. I know Ronnie's a stud. I feel the same way, especially on my left arm, though. For whatever reason, my left arm, I have had a few nagging injuries like everyone else, but right now I probably only have a little issue in my wrist, but it doesn't affect me on the table. So no excuses, nothing like that. I know Ronnie's gonna bring his A game. That's why I asked him for a match, because I've never gotten the opportunity to pull him, and I want that opportunity, and I think we're gonna have a good match. That's all I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Josh,
So
seen
tell us
Jake
right
pull a
now,
lot.
Jake, why do you win?
Why do I
Why do
win?
you win that match?
Because I'm a stud,
Yeah.
bro. I'm a stud.
That's
No,
it, huh?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, if you ask anybody that pulls me, I don't know what the truth is, but everyone tells me that my left arm is the better arm. I have no idea why. I'm sure everyone in here can't explain it either. Sometimes it's just happens to be the case. I don't train it differently or anything, but I don't think Ronnie's going to be able to handle the height difference, and I think he's going to get top rolled over and over. That's my outlook for the match, but we'll see.
Interesting.
Okay, Ronnie, same question. Ronnie, why do you win that match? Why does Jake lose?
Well, tell you the truth, I've never met him before. I don't really know him. So, and I really don't know much about him. I mean, recently I have been, social media here and there trying to see who's this Jake guy is. So, I mean, I guess he follows me on Instagram, and apparently he follows me on Instagram and Facebook. I didn't even know until recently. So I was able to see some of his stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, he arm wrestles. So I don't know. Question for Jake: How long you been arm wrestling for?
I'm coming up on my 3-year mark right now. That's what Ronnie's saying. He's like, this dude's a scrub. That's why I win.
Not even on his radar, bro.
Right? Yeah, man. I've been arm wrestling for about 3 years now, coming up on 3 years. So I'm still a noob.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just a number, because right about when I was 3 years, I was pretty good into the game. So I mean, I'm 3 years is pretty solid foundation.
Yeah.
So I'm hungry. I remember when I had my 3 years, very hungry, which is great. That's what we need in the sport. We need more people like that, hungry and willing to compete and willing to take anybody. So yeah. So I mean, so like I said, so the question you were asking me about why should I win? Well, what Jake said, I'm feeling strong shit, so I'll put in anybody that wants to challenge me, you know what I mean? So I mean, since I really don't know nothing about them, I really can't go based on what can I do. But the only thing I can tell you is that I'm not a one-trick pony. That's, so I've been arm wrestling about going on 8 years now. So I'm definitely not new. So I'm, over the years, I've trained different types of angles, positioning, transitioning, and different movements. So like I said, I can top roll, I can hook, I can press, I can shoulder press. I mean, whatever I need to do. So Jake saying crack my wrist, it's okay. I still got more. So let's see, so
That's what I've heard, bro. That's the one key thing I've heard about Ronnie is if you get him an inch from the pad, it's not over. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he's a grinder.
I mean, like I said, I don't feel like I definitely feel like I'm an underdog, but at the same time, I feel like I have a good chance of winning, which is the point of the competition, the point of having the match, right? Like if there was no chance of me losing, then what's the point of having the match? Like there is none. So I think it's going to be a fantastic match and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. These kind of matches are always very interesting. It's good to see the newer the newer athletes stepping up to the vets and kind of testing the waters. You're seeing where you're at. And I oftentimes respect the vet in the situation for accepting the match with those newer guys that are trying to test the waters. And that's kind of how we shake the rankings up and everything too. Jake, you actually had somebody in the chat saying it's Esteban Leva. Says,
Oh Lord.
Okay. Oh, so you know this person. I heard Jake Collins lost to Illinois boys too often. He had to move out of state to save face.
Yep, that's true. It's very true. Yeah, I got a lot of friends in Illinois because that's where I'd say I lived in Chicago for a couple of years, and anyone in here probably knows that the Midwest has some fucking crazy arm wrestlers. They got a fantastic community out there, so there'll probably be a couple of those guys in the chat. But yeah, Cali's got plenty of strong boys too, trust me.
Oh yeah. So before I jump over to Tony and Saray, we've got a couple more chats. The Devil's Backbone Puller says it's hard to shine when everyone's a diamond. Little compliment to all y'all, I guess. Yeah, we got a lot of cool guests on today. We got Benjimac in the house, holding it down as a moderator. What's up, Benjimac? Hey, you gonna be coming to the Kraken, Benji? See, we've got Scott Fossen saying what's up, Jake, and we got the Schmo saying who wants the smoke with Benjamin. So yeah, so we've got Saray in here, and Saray, I first got to know a little bit about you, and what was that, the that last competition that Larry Wheels competed at, was that
it was Arizona State.
Arizona, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fanboyed him. I mean, I did all right in the entire competition, but not gonna lie. So first exposure to arm wrestling was actually Tony. So I appreciate him taking the match, and gonna piggyback on what you said earlier about the veterans taking on the newbies. I've been pulling for a year and a half, kind of smashing everybody. I've won, I don't know, 7, 8 amateur tournaments, and I've won a couple of pros already. But jumping into the mix, it was Tony 8 years ago going, hey man, come to the table real quick. And he was working at Lumber Liquidators, and I owned a flooring company in the same state that he was residing in back then. And we gripped up, and he's like, all right, go. And I start moving sideways thinking, hey, this is tabletop high school, junior high arm wrestling. He's like, you're strong as hell, man, but watch. And as I'm holding on to him, he just kind of lays me over softly. He's like, you should come check us out sometime. And he gave me his card. And I was like, yeah, cool, man. Get the fuck out of here. Like, fucking arm wrestling. Like, what is that? And sure shit, it was, I don't know, man. I'm in school finishing my master's, and I was listening to a Lex Friedman podcast, and Devin Larratt was on there talking about how arm wrestling is hand chess. And that is what actually piqued my interest. Like, okay, that makes sense. So then I started looking at videos, and then I started fanboying fucking Larry Wheels. So at Arizona State, it was more like, dude, I've been watching your videos on training for the last year, almost year and a half. And then I get to pull you. So that was cool. So he's moving his hand around and doing all this funky shit. And I just wasn't in the game. It was one of those surreal moments. So I appreciate the fact that Tony's taking me on. You got to transfer the sword at some point. And I'm not saying I'm that guy, but him taking my challenge, my call out means a lot to me. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of y'all on Saturday, except for Brandon. He's a little guy. He says he's 300 pounds. He's like 245.
Luckily, you have an easy match with Tony because Tony sucks, but I think he sucked too. So, yeah, no, we'll definitely get on the table.
Yeah, buddy.
Either one of you guys still have to prove that you can beat me.
Shut up.
So Brandon.
Yeah, but Brandon didn't call you out. You know what I mean?
I think you actually, if you beat Paul, you should actually super match with me next, just because.
There you go.
and then let's see the shit talk and continue.
You know it will.
Now, the passing the sword comment, I appreciate that, but I'm 43 years old. I'm in my prime.
Bro, I'm 39.
Yeah,
so I'm just chomping at the bit. Yeah, you good, bro. That's why I said maybe. You never know.
You're a strong dude, and I'm sure you're better now because you got a little bit of experience. But I'm better now too.
Facts.
It's been a while.
I'm not slouching. I'm not sleeping on it. I've been
Yeah.
training and working hard. I feel like I'm stronger than I've been, and I pulled some pretty big dudes and some pretty strong guys. Pulled the same guys that you pulled. My only losses are to the same guys who've beaten you. Everybody else I smash, and that's not blowing my own smoke. My only losses are Jordan Sill, Cody Merritt, Eric Holiday. Like, that's it. Larry Wheels, John got me on the left, but that was the same jump not being prepared. So I've trusted in the skills that I've built, and I'm eager to learn more because I don't get to pull guys my size. So I feel like this challenge is also a way for me to sharpen the iron I already possess.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. No, I'm undefeated against Jordan Seal. I've beat him twice right, twice left so far.
You only got 130 pounds on him.
I know. Hey, look, I'll say it this way, man. I've only been pulling for a year and a half. Like, y'all can't knock the game. I still went out there and went after these bad motherfuckers have been pulling for 20 plus years or whatever. You know what I mean? So, like, I'll say this. I've never been in a position where I've been humbled so quickly by somebody who's been pulling for 18 years but doesn't look like they've been pulling.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, that tendon strength, the knowledge, the skill set, it goes hand in hand with, you can look like the most jacked monkey in the gym. But if you don't know what the hell you're doing with the strength you possess, you're not moving the fucking wall.
Yeah.
So
Mainly hand too with these guys that have been pulling forever, man. Like, you just can't match that hand strength. So unconventional. You don't like who the fuck is training arm wrestling movements that's not arm wrestling. You're not. Like, yeah, I've been in the gym since I was 12 years old. I've only been doing pronation work for the last 3 or 4 years. It's like, it's just totally different world for guys who've been on the table.
Yep, that's the truth. Yeah, and the hand's the top of the chain. A lot of plumbers and tradesmen really come in really good at arm wrestling. But yeah, the power lifters though, guys like you, Brandon, they seem to do really well. As if that hand element is missing, as soon as that last little factor is put into play, it's kind of a rough combo.
Yeah, the strap makes all the difference for guys like me. Like, even though I've been in the sport for 3 or 4 years now, it's still the strap. It's still a strap game for me. I can pull any of the guys that are smaller than me, without a strap, no problem. But when I get with anyone that's bigger and has that hand control, I need the strap. It's just, it's just matter of fact. And it's because I needed to brace off of, really. It's just not used to activating it even yet after all this time without having that like back wall to brace off of.
Yeah. So, I mean, out of all of you guys, considering all this trash talk we've had amongst a few of you that don't even have matches, are all of you going to compete in the tournament?
I've had so much gray area on this, so maybe you can answer that. When are the super matches happening versus?
First.
Yeah, they happen at 11, and they started at 11. The super matches started at 11, I think, and the tournament probably starts at like I'll say 1:00.
Okay.
No way. There's only 5 super matches.
Oh, I mean, every tournament I've been to so far, and it's not a million of them, but Tony will vouch for this too. Like, they say they'll start at noon. No one ever starts when they say they will. They'll probably start at like 12:30.
Yeah,
I think that's though.
Dave DePue's kind of not known for being on time either. So, yeah, no, I'm not pulling in the tournament. I got to get home. I got an elderly dog that I got to attend to. So I'll be down there to pull with my match with Paul. Then I'll be getting out of there, headed home back to Vegas.
Cool, man.
I think it depends on how our match goes, Tony and I's, before
Yeah.
I decide if I'm going to pull after the fact. So
Yeah,
I'd like to say yes, but
Right. I'm the same way. I'm not like, why would I want to enter a tournament after I just had a super match? Like,
I plan on it.
well, shut up. You
it just
fucking
depends
suck.
on
No
this
one
team.
asked you.
Yeah, my man, Tony. Yeah.
Just depends on the match, that's all.
Like my question is, so yeah, Tony and Saray, your match is it going to be lefty or righty?
Both.
Both. Oh, okay. Now I see why you're holding off to see how things go. But yeah, I don't know, man. You're coming from Colorado, right, Saray?
I am. I'm coming from Colorado.
Just
Hey, that's where Tony was. That's where we met. So, I think I'll have the advantage in stamina, coming from this high altitude. so many, like I have so many different angles that I want to try out. I want to be able to try them all. You know what I mean?
You look like a high stamina athlete.
Don't I?
Yeah, you
Hey,
do. When I look at you, that's the first thing I think. I'm like, this
I
fucking
appreciate
guy,
it. I appreciate
this
it.
fucking guy can go all night. I guarantee.
Hey, you already know that's a fact after Arizona, man. I pulled that whole tournament and then pulled until 2:00 in the morning. So like,
this guy's definitely a decathlete.
Yeah. When I see this guy, I see him just in a fucking swimming across the ocean, like just doing some crazy shit.
Yep.
Some of those big boys can move for a while. Yeah, you don't know. So
when I see Tony, I want to make sure he doesn't drive through a fucking school zone.
I can't even walk through a school zone, man. Impossible. Too many little kids in the way. I end up stepping on people.
Is that what happens?
We got Scott Fosson in the chat saying, "Don't underestimate my boy Jake. Ronnie, you're in for a long day."
A short day.
We've got Natfit LLC in here. We got Jamie Sheldon in the house saying, giving a little Toddzilla quote, "F your hand."
Yeah. I wish I could pull like Todd. I need to really commit to like that flop wrist side pressure going, because that would eliminate a lot of my problems.
Right. He's actually pretty, I don't see him that much go past at least like a flat wrist, at least.
Right.
I don't really see him like taking people's hands. But yeah, when he does go sideways and kind of give it up, it doesn't even really look like he's giving it up. He's pretty good at keeping a relative flat position, it seems.
I guess it depends on who he's pulling, but when I think of Todd, I think of like that hand kind of cracking back a little and going flat and sideways, which I understand that because when I get in my open arm top roll Kings move, when I crack my wrist back a little bit, my pronation like doubles in strength. And then I'm able to, bring the match back, and I could kind of see how that feels strong, but I don't know. I got to commit to that and start training that.
I agree with it. What do you think about your bench? Same thing. The moment that my wrist gets taken a little bit, I feel like I can access just more of the shoulder tricep in that movement, even moving sideways.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't bench flat, you bench with the slight cock back. So so that makes sense.
Yep. And also pronated. I could see how that you'd feel stronger that way, because sometimes if you cock your wrist back, you're kind of actually getting out of their hand a little bit, creating a little less tension to pronate.
And now what they say about Jerry, that he's doing a flat wrist, he's really top rolling because he's pronating through that pressure. So same thing, that dude just benches all the time. That's all he does.
Blanca Vega in the house saying, "Ronnie is the quiet storm. Jake Collins, good luck. You will definitely need it. The only reason why he took your match is because he has amazing sportsmanship." Oh shit, she's just saying it how it is, bro.
Damn. Yeah, I appreciate it, Ronnie. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, like I respect the fact that you're hungry, and you know what, everybody deserves a shot. I know you don't have that many years, and usually people don't like to take those matches like, oh, he's just barely starting, blah blah. But you know what, you're hungry, you want it. It looks like you're really anxious to pull me. So you know what, let's see who's better. Let's see if you got what it takes. So bring your A game, because I'm bringing mine. So it should be a good day, definitely.
Hell yeah, brother.
Love it. So we've also got Mr. Don Mormon in the house, the man, the myth, the legend, saying, "Hey y'all, what's up, Don? Don, you gonna be coming to the Kraken? Yeah, let us know in the chat." And Jamie says, "Yes, Brandon, you have a shot." I think it meant shit. Yes, Brandon, you have a shitload of static side pressure in your move. I was impressed.
Yeah, I pulled Jamie that other week that I was down in Huntington Beach for compound arm wrestling practice, Christian's practice. That's when me and Larry pulled again after not pulling for a year and a half or so. But I was feeling pretty weak still at that point. I feel much stronger now. But yeah, me and Jamie got a chance to grip up. It was good, And then you guys saw the video, I'm sure, on Larry's channel. Maybe you guys seen it.
Yep. Yeah, I was curious about that. Yeah, because you guys had your big match. Well, yeah, like you said, a year and a half ago. What are you thinking of Larry these days?
I think it's improved a lot. I just, man, I know that if I had a super match with Larry right now, I would beat him.
Really?
Yeah, not in a tournament format. He would get 2 pins on me again, no doubt about it in my head that would happen. But he just keeps going that same lane. And when I get in that spot where I feel strong, and if I'm stopping you once, I'm probably going to continue to stop you in that spot. I don't, it just the way that my shoulder rotates into it and puts the pressure on the hand, and he just kept hitting the same spot. And it's like, I just slowly turn it back over. And that's what I was worried about for his match coming up versus Leonidas, because Leonidas has a King's move with his left arm. So there's a lot of footage that obviously they didn't show, for a reason. And that with me and Larry were on the table, we're on the table for quite a while there, going over things, and they just showed some clips, and people think they know what they saw, but they don't. But basically, the main thing I was trying to teach Larry was, get through it, was just changes in his angles, because when I'm down there in that King's move right there by the pad, I have very little room for error. I can't make too many mistakes right there because it's just so close to getting pinned. Where he needs to try other things, and he can regroup and be able to recover from maybe a mistake, a bad move or a move that didn't feel great. But hitting the same spot isn't the answer if it's stopping. If you try different angles and maybe go back to that spot, it might be there, but you gotta the main thing I was just teaching was keeping it moving, keeping it changing. But I was feeling really weak that day too. Not to take, but Larry's hand feels significantly stronger. If I pulled Larry without a strap, he would take me right to the pad. Like, I don't have any doubt about that at all.
I was going to say, when was the last time you were actually on the table with him?
I don't know, a couple months ago, a month and a half, or 2.5 months ago.
At practice?
Yeah, at practice in Huntington Beach.
Okay. Yeah, because he now has a certain move, because he ran away from me. He ran away from my hand.
I pulled him after you pulled him, Tony. It was well after that. We talked about you guys pulling, but it's at least with me, he went to that same dragging style hook and then trying to pronate at the end and just was unable to. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like, and I don't feel like I was that strong.
It was kind of weird, like he was good, but it just wasn't the same,
I don't remember your match with him off the top of my head because I watched both left and right. I don't remember which ones I saw, but
the one in Mexicali.
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah, you have an open arm top roll with your right arm, don't you?
Yeah, you and I have very similar. Right arm. Yeah.
You just have much stronger hand than I do.
Yeah,
that in the length.
I wouldn't say much stronger hand, but I would say I'm stronger a little bit. Yeah. No,
your hand. I remember pulling you. Your hand is big, long, and just it's kind of scary. I'm just a white guy over here used to dealing with little small things. You got this big old long dark thing you're throwing at me. I just don't like it.
All right. I'll take it.
Keep it to yourself. All right. Give me the strap.
I'm trying to. You revealed it just now. So now all right, whatever.
I'll forever talk shit to you, Tony. I can't help myself.
So I'm curious if his lack of adjustments with you is somewhat isolated to you, maybe with your style or something like that, because it might just be me, but he's been coming to the Alpha Empire practices a lot, and to me it just seemed like, especially when he's going around some of our heavier hitters on the team, I have been watching him adjust a lot, and that's been surprising and impressing me. So yeah, I'm a little confused by that. I'm wondering if maybe it just has to do with your particular style. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it could be. I know my style is unique. It's not something I train for. Like, people ask, how did you train for a King's move? I'm like, I got on the arm wrestling table, and that's where I felt the strongest. I don't know. It just fucking happened,
Right.
It could just be my style too, because I do a lot of up pressure on my King's move. I have a pretty strong strict curl, so even when I get on my bicep and I'm still pronating, it's still pretty strong. I would say stronger than probably a normal arm wrestler that someone's dealing with. But
I think mine's more. I roll from outside. Like when my arms are almost opened up, I typically roll like that.
Yeah, right. I do the same, but I do mine with my wrist flat or cocked back even. That's where I feel the strongest. So even with a little like King's hook, kind of like I would say you kind of do, because you kind of have your wrist still curled a little bit. That's not where I'm strong. I'm strong with my hand flat or slightly kicked back, and that's where I feel like
that might be exactly where we're at if we have a match.
Yeah, I know it would be so ugly. You would be pulling like the arm wrestling people that aren't like arm wrestlers are gonna be like, what are they doing? Just hanging on it. They're gonna hate it. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think
it'll be Devin and Dave, center table, weird, twisted.
It has potential to look like that.
I think with you, it's the same. I'm not a King's mover, but I have a natural propensity to get to the King's move because I'm stronger than everybody I train with. Physically stronger. So everybody hits, I can't hit back. So I've had over the last year of just catching everybody and then moving. So for the last 6 months, I've actually been training to hit and figuring that out. But my King's move is very similar. I think it's actually a blend between the two of yours, where I can stay flat in the King's move and let my hand come back and still roll out of it because I pronate through my thumb instead of pronating through my wrist. And Tony pronates through his wrist.
You're just trying to get in between us two, you sick fuck.
Dude, I think me and Saray
I love both of you.
I think me and Saray are very similar in a way too. You know, like the way he started, the way I started is very similar. He started strong. You know, his same techniques because I've seen his techniques. They're very similar to mine, except for left hand. You got to catch up left hand for sure. But I think between you, me, and Brandon, we're very close. But I think I'll beat you both right now.
We all have ambitions, you know.
Hey,
I'm a little more unrealistic than others.
We're hungry.
Because I've been working on different stuff now, man. I've been working on some different stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost a mini Devin Larry, except for I'm bigger than him.
Yeah, mini. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you got two sides of that Canuck.
There's not too many people bigger than me, man. I don't feel big. I do not feel big at all. I feel like a normal human being. It's just
you don't know what normal is. You're retarded.
Yep, very average.
Very average. Thank you. And what happens is when I go against people like Reg, which is a freak of nature, like he is so small, but he is so damn strong and so I don't know, man. It's almost like he got his arms just kind of soldered together. It's weird as shit.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking Neanderthal too. Like you can just tell that guy has abnormally high growth hormone and like natural testosterone levels. Like whether he's on gear or not, before all of that, you know, he was just like genetically gifted with a little extra. You know, you just give him a little extra.
Yeah, he's built different. He looks like he walks on his hands.
Yeah. Props to the science. Props to the scientists that found that guy and thought him out, you know?
Right. He looks like a Ninja Turtle with those like traps and shoulders and stuff. He's just so jacked.
I thought you meant with his nose.
The cool thing is if I'm fresh, I feel like I can either beat him or almost beat him right now.
What about left?
That's what I'm talking about, left. Right, he has nothing for my hand. But
I don't know.
He holds me all weird right-handed.
Huh.
That's it.
When you guys were talking about, you know, you, Saray, and Brandon about your kind of similarities and differences with your open style. Mm-hmm. With you in particular, Tony, Vrej is the number one style and competitor I can think of that would, especially being smaller, that could give you a hard time, you know, where he's strong and his style and how to defend against a style like yours.
It's just so weird. It's his style is so weird. He's so strong and fast. He's got those fast twitch muscles, you know, and then of course he's got stamina for days too, you know. If he's
his issue is the press, right?
Huh?
His issue is the press, right? Anybody who can shoulder roll him or press him, that's his issue. That's what he has an issue with.
Right-handed, but that's after he gets wore out. After he's done 4 weight classes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a freak, dude.
The whole tournament, now he's getting pressed. Like you try to press that man fresh for fresh, it's not gonna happen.
Have you ever had a super match with him, Tony?
With Vrej, dude, that would be a lose-lose situation.
Well, I know, but I still want to know that
because
answer
he's
to that
200
question.
pounds less than I am. Brandon, 200 pounds. Dude, that's not a good deal for me. You know? And
I would never take that match.
no, I won't.
and he's not like well known, like in terms of like the social game, you know what I mean? And that makes it tough. I know it sounds gay, but it really does make a difference, because if someone's putting in all the work on social and all this extra time, and then other people like, oh, why we get a match? I'm like, dude, you're a really good arm wrestler, you suck at social media. That's like a terrible option for me. Like, why would you know what I mean?
I could see
he's
that.
like a retarded Count Dracula, bro. Like, he's sleeping while everybody else is
Right.
awake.
So you beat the arm wrestling whisperer, and all of a sudden you're the strongest dude on the planet, but you lose to Varej, and everyone's like, who the fuck is this random guy that he just lost to?
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good look.
Yeah, well, and it depends on the choir you're speaking to, because the actual arm wrestling community that knows who Vrej is, and knows who a lot of these people are that are on social media, like, yeah, they know what's up. But
Right.
a lot of the people that are going to know who these bigger social media names are, they're not really arm wrestlers. They're fans of watching it and stuff like that, but they are the bigger bulk.
Well, and that's who you make your money off of if you're going to get
Yes.
monetized in the sport. You're not getting monetization from other arm wrestlers. You guys aren't buying my fucking grip programs and shit like that. It's the people that are coming into it that are green, that kind of thing. So you have to consider that as well. Yeah, and if things aren't exciting for them to see, we can go back to how it was before I was in the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, and they're important. They really are. So Paul Stevens is actually in the chat. He says he's still in class, but he'll make sure, Brandon, that his match is quick so you can run home. Paul 3, Brandon.
Thank you, Paul. So when I 3-0 you, I'll say thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, Paul did tell me, he's like, dude, if I beat you again, you have to call me daddy. I'm like, if I call you daddy, you owe me for a lot of years of bad child support, then, motherfucker. So this may not go the way you like it.
Come on, Paul. Like we talked earlier, if your teacher keeps running on long like this, just let your teacher know you got important arm wrestling business to tend to.
Yeah, super important. Hey, well, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. It's way past my bedtime. We got an early 4 a.m. wake up call. I was hoping to get on with a little bit with Paul, but obviously he's a fucking boomer stuck in class. You know what I mean? Looking at like pictures of Sandra Bullock on his phone and screenshotting it and saving his.
I would too.
Who knows? Who the fuck knows what these people do these fucking days? You know what I mean? Well, I'm sure he's doing something.
Bring back the morning BJ, bro. We need more of this.
I know. I missed it. Sarah
Yeah.
got a new schedule and it just kind of fucked things up, and then he kind of lost the fire. You know what I mean? And
No, I won't. I'll invite me to a Zoom. I'll join you. We'll crack it out.
we can talk some shit. I do a Monday show every Monday night, 6 p.m. where I just sit there and talk, me and my wife, and I talk shit. I read every chat. And so if you guys ever want to join that, whoever's on it, you're welcome to. But I want to start bringing a guest on throughout that time, maybe a couple guests to show, make it a little more fun. I like just talking shit and hanging out with the crew. You know what I mean?
So then it's evening BJ going forward.
Evening.
And it'll be
It's gonna crack
it's always been in the evening, but I called it morning because it's just there's nothing more delightful than a morning BJ. And when you're getting your morning BJ, I want to make sure you're thinking about me.
That's awful.
All right. When you look down at your wife,
That is a horrible face. No, dude, that is.
it's
I mean, you do have the
it's quicker
handlebars.
than you used
You
to.
got the handlebars, but that is real scruffy for the love.
You're already thinking about it, you sick bastard. Look
Hey,
at this on.
Smooth. Hey, no traction without pulling. So
I'll make sure I do a fresh shave too, so you can rub my silky head. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of
handlebars.
October 14th, Victorville, California. I'm hosting an arm wrestling tournament. It's at the gym off the 15 freeway in Victorville. It's a 30,000 square foot gym. It's huge. This is an annual event. They bring out a professional runway stage, so wear a costume. They give away a ton of free cool shit. They do a professional strongman competition outside. They asked me to bring arm wrestling, so that's what we're doing. They also got a mechanical bull, jumper for the kids, carnival games, all kinds of cool shit. It starts at 6 p.m. October 14th. Dress up, bring the family, wear something that you can safely compete in. Bill Collins is going to be the head referee. So we're going to make that happen. We got awards for you guys, all kinds of cool shit. So I hope I see you all out there.
We'll be
Boys,
there.
I'll see you this
Yeah, man.
weekend. Tony, fuck you.
Hey,
Thanks
you
for
too.
coming on, Brandon.
love you.
Benjimac, go ahead and plug his YouTube channel for us if you can. In the
Brandon.
chat. That'd be great. October
but-
14th, that's my birthday. I'm there.
No, then you should be in Colorado. October 14th, Colorado State Championships. Got super
Oh, boy.
matches with, Tim Talmadge, Eric Wolf. We're gonna have a super match. We got Taylor. He's one of my teammates, so we have Devil's Backbone Puller. So we're kind of an arm wrestling club because I don't want to take away from Colorado. But he's pulling Edo. What is this? Mooselick, the legendary Balkan. So they have a super match on October 14th. Tony, come down, bro. You got to come hang out.
I will. You know I will.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, bro.
Where is the Devil's Backbone located? What town?
So we're in Berthoud. We were originally in Loveland, but I moved. I got a house here in Berthoud, so I moved the team here. So we host our practice every Sunday. This goes out to anybody who's watching. It's an open practice. I usually have around 20 to 30 guys, ripping up my deck in the backyard. Yeah, it's insane, bro. My practices
good.
get pretty huge. But yeah, so we host practice every Sunday at 1. I provide the food and the tables to pull on, and the only thing I ask is you don't whine when I smack your arm. So just come pull for free and fun and free food, and yeah, all that sustenance comes with it.
So this is what I was doing with Northern Colorado Arms. Exactly what you're doing. And then all of a sudden, like I left and it just kind of fell out. I don't know. It's kind of like still there, kind of lingering, but it's like
weird. You kind of passed the sword.
I passed it. I passed the team. You went from there to there. Yeah. So
Hey, no, it's good, bro.
it's a disappointment, but no, Berthoud, that's not far. That's
How do you spell that town name?
It's Berthoud, Berthoud.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
That's
So
not
it's like 10, 15 minutes from Longmont, where Tony kind of set the roots and destroyed everybody in Wall. And that's, I went back and watched a whole bunch of videos, and not recently, just when I started pulling, because it was a random Isaac Luna, like, oh yeah, Tony used to pull, you remind me of Tony. And this was a little over a year ago. And I was like, really?
That's
like,
all.
yeah,
That's
Tony Thomlison. Yeah, well, he showed me your picture, and I was like, that's the dude that fucking it was like this weird, trickle down memory lane. So yeah, kind of did take over doing the same thing. CJ comes here, a couple of your other boys come here, Scott, all those dudes. So
how do you
it's
feel
cool,
about
man.
Scott Machad?
I think that dude should compete, man. He's the practice champion, man. The guy he's got a really good hit, real Travis Bajan style hit, and I wish he would compete. That's where I'm at with Scott. Like, world of knowledge. We have a differing opinion on different things, but I think it's based on size, because I'm I got 100 pounds on Scott, and Scott's a big dude. So, but I got to pull where I feel comfortable, and he wants to teach everybody on his lane. So we just have a budding opinion there. Outside of that, he's a good dude, and I think he should pull, but he's gonna be stuck in Masters because he's old as shit.
Right. I don't know. He's a great dude, man. But like, I think the only tournament he pulled outside of the tournaments that I actually promoted was Colorado State 2014.
Okay.
That's actually when we started. So I took third left, and then third left, third right, and then first amateur left. And I try to give him the reins for right-handed. And then I think, who was it? Leland Driggs. Has Leland Driggs been around?
Yeah, Leland. He pulled a couple months ago. He's nursing some old stuff, man, but he's real strong hook puller. Good dude. So I'm looking forward to. I mean, it's weird. Colorado's got a lot of skill, a lot of dudes here, a lot of interest. I mean, even the Shaw Classic was a huge hit with the locals here, so it was awesome to be a part of that. Attend that. Sponsor or put our money towards that whole ideal, sponsor the idea of power lifters coming over, and I think that's my reasoning for not being injured in the sport is just having that as a background years ago. But yeah, no, dude, Colorado's, in my opinion, a diamond in the rough. It just needs to get the dirt kicked off it, and you left too soon because you would have been the man to kind of lead that. You'd have been the pioneer.
I don't know. Chris Chandler was actually the one that I needed to beat, and then I actually lost to him before I left Colorado, and now I actually beat him left-handed.
Of course.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah. But I'm gonna go back over there one of these days and go ahead and take it again.
Come on.
Dude, Jeff Ames have been saying, you know, if you would have stayed in Colorado, you'd have been in the Hall of Fame.
I'll just come back. Just retire back here. You know, have Colorado Hall of Fame. Then move back to California, take California Hall of Fame. Whatever you got to do.
I don't know. We'll see.
Now, Jeff's cool, dude. I like him. He's a cool cat.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, was 2014 your first year?
That was my first legitimate year. That's when I started with Scott Machad. 2005 was my first tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a year after the whole big pulling John thing, right? Rich Simpson. So he's actually I think he's a multiple national champion. He's the one that invited me. He was one of the referees, and I actually beat him in that tournament. And I took overall 2005. I actually have the trophy to prove it still. But yeah, it was like one of those things. Like Saray, he's, you know, when I was telling him this is a sport, this is legitimately a sport, you should start training right now. He didn't take it seriously until years later. I saw him and he was pulling in Cheyenne, Wyoming at Frontier Days, which is freaking awesome times, right? And I was like, what the hell? Where was this guy 5 years ago?
Facts, man.
Into it.
I'm not a person of regrets, but that is one thing. I like a challenge. I'm not a confrontational person until I get poked. And what are you doing on the table? You're poking the person across from you, talking shit, whether you're saying something or not. You're preventing them from moving and doing anything else. So I fell in love the moment I got a table. I have my own tables. You know, guys come over here and work out in the garage. You know, we have a good time. So I wish I would have years ago when I had the money to really invest.
What was the instance that got you into it though? Like after I told you, so you didn't do anything after that.
No.
What was the instance that got you into it?
It was that Lex Friedman, Devin Larratt podcast, bro. It was Devin Larratt saying that arm wrestling is a hand chess fight. And I play chess with my boy. He's ridiculous ELO rating, higher than mine. Loves playing chess. And when he said that, it just connected everything. So that was, fell in love with it. I was like, all right, cool. Reached out, jumped on Facebook, found Isaac Luna and Charles, and I forget who the other guy was, Mark, a couple other people, and hit my first practice up. I did that. I hit 4 practices. And then one of the other guys was like, hey man, I'm going to Arizona State. This was 2022. Anybody want to go? And I was like, hell yeah, I'll go. 4 practices in. I'm like, yeah, I want to see what that's all about. I went down there and took second place right hand, third place left in that Arizona State tournament last year. And, you know, met a bunch of really cool dudes that were really welcoming and saying, hey, you got potential in the sport. And it's just grown from there, man. So the spark originally was in 2016 when you were like, hey, bro, you should arm wrestle. So it lived there. You planted the seed. It stayed there.
Awesome. I'm going to see how that seed grows. I'm going to see how it grew this weekend.
Yes, sir. You will. It's a tree.
All right, we're talking about arm wrestling, right? Okay.
That's a great thing about you and I.
Dude, trees.
We're both right there. We're almost identical sizes, except for like a couple
inches. Yeah.
Dude, it's not often I get to. It's not often I get to actually arm wrestle someone my size and not bigger.
That's exactly what I said, man. I get the opportunity to, you know, everybody hits here and then I do my work. So it'll be good. I've had, I would say like 70-30, you know, since getting up with guys that are my size, my power level, where if I can feel like I get my lane and I can hit to it, it's a different outcome, man. So I've got some good notable victories over some good people, and I've got some losses to good people. So outside of that, you know, those who I've faced, I didn't feel.
You're talking about the natural people, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not all.
Yeah, the ones that I lose to are
not natural. Yep.
Not so natural. And I don't go against that, because if I can beat people that are not natural, then I'm just that much better.
I agree.
Take what you take. I'm gonna get to where I need to get, and if I need to take something eventually, then that's whenever.
No, I would say that's when I'm too old to do anything. I'm 100% natural. I was actually training for a strongman competition in March, and blew my knee out in February. tore my ACL. And that kind of stopped everything. But we were getting tested every month leading up to that. And so I was trying to do both at the same time. And now I'm like, all right, well, I'll focus on family, school, and powerlifting, and or arm wrestling versus powerlifting. So that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's kind of taking precedence.
Absolutely. Yeah, just take your time, dude. Don't rush into things. Matter of fact, when you're on the table with me, do not get in a compromised position. It's a tournament.
Oh, 100%.
Actually, no, this is a super match. This is not practice.
Yep.
If I find out that I am strong enough to hold you, I'm going to hold you. But do not get in a compromised position, because if I break your arm, I will not forgive myself.
You won't. That's not going to happen because I'm not that guy. I'm not an ego puller. I feed this to my ego, so we're good.
All right,
I appreciate that.
All right.
We got the veteran Paul Stevens joining us. How's it going, Paul?
It's going good. Sorry for coming on late. I had my class, and I work nights now, so from like 3 to 11:30. So I'm actually at work right now.
Wow.
Big Paul.
Yeah.
We had Brandon on here. He had to get off early, but he had quite a few words to say.
Yeah, I know. He's young. He needs his sleep. He, can't stay up late. And he calls me boomer, like the baby boomers or whatever. It's like I'm Gen X. I'm not a baby boomer. That's my dad. He's 7 years old. And he's a millennial, and God, nothing worse than millennials. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I mean,
Hey, be careful there, Paul. We're not having a super match.
huh?
I said, be careful there, Paul. We're not having a super match. I'm a millennial.
Hey, I mean, you want to lose twice. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you can pull Tony, then pull
That's
me.
a tall order. Yeah, that's a tall order.
No. I'm glad you're coming out to San Diego, to pull Tony and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to that match, both right and left. So,
Yeah, we need to do a
How
tournament
you
that's
gonna
just Gen X versus millennials. We'll see what happens.
well, that's, I mean, they won't drive, they won't do all these different things and stuff. They want the tournament close to their houses. So, whatever, we'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
They'll like Google the adjustment before, the next round,
Damn, you guys are all old as fuck.
I'm 53. I'm 53, man. I'm old. I'm the oldest one there in the panel, probably.
I travel too much, which is why I'm in the position I'm in.
Yeah.
So how's this rematch going to go, Paul? How's this rematch going to go? I know you've been training.
I've been training good. I've been, everything's been going well. I mean, I'm able to stop Allen and pull him over, I feel. I mean, I know it's not a tournament. It's it's a practice, but, I have him, hit, and I try to, catch it. He's just so fast. But, I've been catching it and trying to, pull over and all the other stuff. I mean, doing that with Allen, that's just a big accomplishment. Now in the tournament, it's different. He's going to, pump it up. I'm, always kind of wanted to pull him in the tournament to see how it will go. But, he's just phenomenal and, when he's on his game. But no, I feel good. I feel really good. I think it's, I'm thinking Brandon will probably get a win, maybe 2, maybe just 1. I'm shooting for no wins. I know he's gonna be stronger. That's why I said no weight cap, because like before, lost all that weight, he's off everything, and people said that's the only reason why I beat him. So I'd rather have him be healthy. I mean, to me, I don't lose anything. If I beat him, is it going to gain me anything? Probably not. I'm not going to be called for super matches or this or that. Even when I was younger and better, I never was called for super matches. And if I lose to him, they'll be like, all right, well, he's 300 pounds and, on a little bit of gear and, TRT and all that stuff. So, he's a heavyweight and you're, 80 pounds lighter. You know what I mean? So for me, there's no pressure, but, I mean, seeing him pull and practice, I know it's different and stuff like that. And same thing with me. I believe I'm going to come on top. I believe it'll be like, 4-1 or 3-1, whatever it is, however 5, super match works. But I believe it. So, I mean, just because he's stronger doesn't mean that he's, improved in certain ways. I know he's going to want to be in the strap and, I'm not going to let him, because last time he asked if you want to start on the strap, and I said, no, you got to earn it, so I'm not going to give him what he wants, but if he gets in the strap, I have no problem. I'm good in the strap myself.
Well, we know that, with any combat sport, there's weight classes for a reason. Do you think that the extra weight that he's put on is going to make that much of a difference? You said that you think he might get a win, but I know that also, a lot of times the bigger guys blow up faster as well. So do you think that it's going to play in his favor? Do you think it's going to play against him putting on so much weight so soon?
I don't know. He's used to being heavy like that, and I don't know, his endurance. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot better. I'm hoping that he's been working on his endurance and stuff like that. So, hello, am I still on or am I off? What happened?
You're still good.
Okay. Oh, it's still good. Oh, okay. I forgot what I was saying. But
is the size going to make a difference? Yeah.
I mean, of course, size is going to make a difference. Of course it is. He's going to be bigger and stronger and stuff like that, and it's going to give him more confidence. So, I mean, I think it'll give him an advantage mentally. But in the sport, I mean, you're just talking about what's his name, Vaz? Is it Vaz? Yeah, I mean, 4 weight classes, beating everybody, taking first and winning super matches. I mean, that guy's phenomenal, and he's 65 or whatever he is, 175. Yeah, so it's I mean, size matters, but it doesn't really. I mean, throughout tournaments and stuff, I've been known to go multiple weight classes and just go up and up and up and do very well in the bigger weight classes too. So I'm not worried about his size or anything like that, or the strength, because I've been doing it long enough. And with the super match, you can kind of figure out, what you need to do to get around whatever he has. So, I mean, that's just how I feel. I feel I have the advantage for the years I have.
Hey, Paul, you already know I've been telling you forever. No, well, not forever, but for a while now that it's on you. Like, you got the strength, you got the tendon strength, you got all that. It just depends on if you want to use it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I know that. And then plus, I've been having a lot of problems with my right wrist, because that's the one I was broke in, what was it, 88. And I've always had problems with that. But with stem cells and cortisone, it actually feels really good now.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
And breaks are the advantage to the puller. I mean, so many guys are, I broke my hand back whenever, I did this, whatever. Hand is thicker, hand is stronger, more dominant. Use it to your advantage. Stop looking at it as an ailment. And like he said, use that tendon strength and keep rocking with it. It's a subconscious effort. So I'm looking forward to the match between you and Brandon, only because I saw the static in Arizona. Like, it was cool to see you boys eyeballing each other from across the room. And there's definitely some heat there. So I'm looking forward to it. Not a bad way, just heat, like, as in I want it. And you're like, come get it. So not in a grudge way.
No, yeah, I agree. I love Brandon and stuff like that. And actually, I'm the one that put it out there, because I know that him losing to me, he had some other super matches that got canceled on him, from my understanding. I could be wrong. And like I said, with me, it didn't really do anything. I mean, I got the Florida one, super match, won that. And that was only because Jonathan hurt his shoulder or something like that. So, I went in there. Huh?
Jonathan Vasquez?
Yeah, he hurt his elbow or shoulder or something like that. So he asked if I would take over.
Jonathan Vasquez. That wouldn't even be a match.
Well, he was doing the California versus Florida. And so he got hurt. And so he asked me to take his place.
Oh, to take his place. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. And at that time, my right wrist was hurting, and all I could do was hook. And so I knew that the one kid was a hook, was a hooker too. So I said, okay, I'll do it, and won whatever it was, 3-2 or whatever it was. So that was fun out there. But yeah, I mean, I offered it to him because I know it would be beneficial for him. But then, he loses to me again. I mean, it's not going to help him out, because I know he's already planning other super matches and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's taking my match serious or what. I hope he is.
He can't look past you, man. You're too strong.
Yeah. So I hope he's taking it serious. I think he is. So.
Yeah.
I hope so. If he's
Yeah,
leaving
watching-
300 pounds.
Yeah, watching your footage with your last match with him at UAL, the execution I just think couldn't have been more perfect for his specific move and what you did. And for certain reasons, I think you do have, and I'm speaking not so much on the experience, but style wise and execution. I think you do, even if he's made strength gains, I think you do have the advantage in this match. I think there's things that could change that, but I won't get into that. And I think, you know, you probably do have the advantage in this one.
Well,
Yeah.
throughout the,
You don't want
throughout
to
the
give away the
years.
secrets, Mr. Fontacheco?
Yeah.
You don't want to tell everybody what they need to be doing? Like, what's up?
No, I'm just picturing, so you know, if there was something else that could you know, maybe change
I'm
the
sorry,
situation, but I don't know if I want
I
to
think that's the best way somebody's ever said your name.
What did I said?
Say it again.
Fontacheco. Was that?
He's like, what do you mean? That is his
Fontacheco.
name.
I mean, that's pretty good, bro.
Yeah, I'm Chinese, didn't you know?
Well, my bad for mispronouncing it. I understand. I feel the same way.
Oh,
Say my
no.
name again.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more time.
Yeah,
Daddy.
I never get it pronounced right the first time. Let's definitely catch up on the chat a little bit here. We got John in the chat saying to Ronnie, don't let Jake's big mouth get to you. Show that boy what you're made of.
I haven't even heard nothing from you, Jake.
I know you've been so humble on the show.
I know.
You
I'm
got
one of
some
the
haters.
I'm one of those competitive trash talkers, you know what I mean? Like I talk trash during the match, but only if I start to win. You know what I mean?
So you're a bully. You're a bully.
That's the worst. In the
I'm
moment,
like,
talking trash.
Yeah, I'm like, what's his name? Gennady. If you let that dude in the match, dude, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like if he thinks he can win, you're fucked, you know? I'm gonna slide right into your head.
Don Mormon is
Well, I
answering.
don't know, Jake. I think you're going to have a hard time with both of them. But you know, Ronnie. I mean, I've beaten you every time we pulled. I mean, it's just like you know, I thought I was pulling an amateur every time I pull you. And now you're going to go against Ronnie, and Ronnie's always giving me a hard time. So you're going to have a hard time with Ronnie. So you better watch out, Jake. Never underestimate Ronnie.
Hey, you're next, Paul. After I beat both of these guys.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh Lordy! Oh, I hope you got stronger.
Damn.
You know, I thought I was pulling. I thought like, why is amateurs pulling pros?
Yikes.
I mean, like, is it novice? There's no novice or anything like that. Why are you pulling pros? You know, so
Give us some reference, Paul. When was this the last time you pulled Jake?
I think it was at one of Dave's tournaments. I don't know when was it.
It was
I
at
don't know. Jake might
the
know
it
better.
was last November.
Yeah,
At
it was
the
like
pull-
the last.
It was
the
at the
Kraken,
last
wasn't it?
no, it was the last pull hook press.
Oh, pull it press. Right.
What has happened?
Yeah, I think I
last
only
year?
went left too. I think I only went left. I didn't go right because they're probably my right. I can't remember. Maybe I went both. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was you know, I think that was actually my first pro class, maybe. I don't know. I got to a point in my and early on where, you know, listening to like guys like Todd Hutchins saying like, you know, it's excellence over victory. You know, don't pull amateur class, just pull pro class. And of course I got my ass kicked several times already. I've done okay in a couple of tournaments in the open class, pro class, but yeah, there's guys like Paul and these dudes that have been doing it for decades that are just right there to fucking safeguard the ladder. You know what I mean?
Who told you not to do amateur?
What's that?
Who told you not to do amateur?
Oh, I was just listening to guys like Todd Hutchins and guys like that. Like he said in the past, I know, to like, don't worry about pulling amateurs, just jump into pro class. And I was like, okay. I have pulled amateurs before, but you know, I decided to forego it and just jump into the open class. And I have had some success, but at smaller tournaments, of course.
I always tell them, everybody that I know and that I actually train, that you should always do at least 1 or 2 amateur tournaments before you do a pro.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The reason why is because of the fact that you need to understand what it's about. You know,
Oh, exactly.
bumps in there, you know, if you win or not. And if you come in last in amateur, you probably need to stay in amateur. right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I definitely did. I did well in the amateur classes. I've placed like, first or second or third, and I placed in every tournament I've been in, regardless of the weight class or the class size. So I've done pretty well amateur wise. So I figured I'd just jump up to pros and see what's up. Of course, there's guys like Paul and Ronnie and, you name it, Tony waiting up there. So those people, yeah, those people that think, oh, I'm gonna win. If I'm winning the amateur class, I could just jump right into pro class and do really well. Like, probably not. You might be like Saray or someone like that, that's got a lot of gifts, natural gifts, and gifts that he's worked for. You might have that background and strength like Brandon or Larry or something, but you're gonna have a fun time in pro class.
I would have actually liked to seen Casey and Surrey.
Yeah,
that matchup first, but
they're literally identical in size. I mean, they're both 6'2", 6'2" or 400. I mean, that's like identical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surrey called me out, and I'm not gonna say no because that's Surrey, and I was the one that tried to get him into arm wrestling, and I want to see where he's at. So.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
You better be careful, Paul. You're on my radar, man. You're on my radar.
Okay. Get me before I retire. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
If the pro class doesn't work out, you can do what a lot of these amateurs are doing, or these athletes are doing, is transitioning to the women's class, and you can do very well. I think my wife can beat you left, but right hand you might have a chance.
Yeah, I'm just hoping you don't. I'm just hoping you don't die of old age before I get there.
I might. It's coming close. It's coming close. Trust me. Every time I wake up. No, I've seen a lot of improvement in you and stuff, and I'm glad to see that you're, Russ. I mean, Russ is a big jump. I mean, when Russ is on, he's on. It's just what Russ is going to do, just like with what Paul's going to be there, right? And Ronnie too. So
yeah,
it should be good matches.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. And that's the whole point, right? Like I said earlier, like if there was no chance of victory and there was no chance of defeat, there's no point in having the match. You know what I mean? Like that's not fun to me. I think I have a chance of winning, but there's definitely a distinct chance that I lose. So that's a good challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. Plus, I got to gauge myself. I've only been doing it 2.5. Almost 3 years, so I got to see where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I think Russell and Ronnie are a good place to start. They've been doing it a while. They're studs. So we'll see where I'm at.
What do you do? Do you top roll? Do you hook? What do you do?
Mostly top roll.
Mostly top roll?
Yeah.
You got a pretty good hand?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I got a pretty good hook though, as I'm told, but I guess it depends on the person I'm pulling too.
What do you say about that, Paul?
Right?
What'd you say, Tony?
You said you were like 6'4"?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a long lever then.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Never know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen you pull. You got the long leverage, but I'm not going to say what. But the way your hand position is, I think it throws you off a little bit. So.
I'm still
change your hand. Just because you got the long leverage and you're going to be doing whatever with your hand. Someone who's smart on that can stop your hand and your hand position. From the last couple of times I've seen and been able to stop your top roll. I don't even know if I don't even know what it was, but when we pulled, I can feel where your hand was, where you felt comfortable, but it just felt more in my favor. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to tell you now, but maybe after your super matches, we can talk about it. But
I'd appreciate that because I'm still brand new, and the newer like guys like Larry or guys that have been pulling for 2 or 3 years, we feel like we're doing everything right. But then you look at I look at video of myself and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? Look at my hand or whatever. But then you go back to the same old bad habits. You know what I mean? Until you work on them, and unless you're honest with yourself, you're never going to improve. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've been doing this on and off for a long time, and I'm always learning something new.
Yeah.
We are our own biggest critics for sure.
Yeah,
I record all of our practices. I record every tournament. I'm watching myself. Every move, I'll get other people's opinion. Hey, man, what did I do wrong here? Get their input, whatever. But I'm looking forward to this tournament for this reason right here. All the knowledge that sits here You know, all the guys are going to critique, regardless of whether they want to or not. They're going to give you their 2 cents for free. So I'm looking forward to, regardless of, well, you beat him, but you could have done this better, or, well, I'd have done this then.
Right.
Cool, bring it, because I'm looking forward to growing, promoting, and bringing some guys that I've got coming up.
Yeah.
So
I think for me personally too, I have a lot of bad habits because, like Saray was saying, like he's the strongest dude on his team, so he can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants, and you know the result's going to be the same. So I'm not saying I'm the strongest dude around in Northern California or anything, but a lot of the guys I pull with are smaller than me. So you create those bad habits where you just kind of at practice, you just let them do whatever they want. You know what I mean? And then you go to a tournament, and you do that same thing, and you're like, oh, I lost.
Now you know what I've been doing for the last 8 years.
Yeah. Can't be nice at the tournament or at a super match. You know what I mean? You got to be a dick. You got to be Devin Larratt.
I think it's a mind frame.
Don't be that big of a dick.
Now I have like 2 or 3 people.
It works for you.
Now I have about 3 people on my team that are almost equal in strength than I am. So it took 3 or 4 years for them to get up there, but like now I can actually get better myself. You know.
Oh, so you've been hard on them, like you don't let them just do whatever they want. You make them fight for it.
Well, I'm not gonna just let them win all the time.
Right.
I got to get them in positions that they start thinking about things and gaining their strengths. Like let's say Alan Haji, he's a Orange County co-captain, right? When he first began, he was literally arm wrestling. His first tournament, he was arm wrestling with the wrong leg under the table, and he was everybody. You know, just awkward as hell. So then bring him about a year forward and he's getting better, but he's still probably about 30% behind me. And then bring him to today. If I make a mistake right-handed, he's taking me. If I make a mistake left-handed, he's giving me a good challenge. You know what I mean? So now I'm able to climb.
Hey Tony, are you left or right-handed naturally?
Left.
You're left-handed naturally. Okay, it's interesting because I'm right-handed naturally, but I'm stronger left-handed. My left hand is way more technical. Well, that's everything like training. I know that's what prompted the whole call out to begin with. Nice. Was actually pulling with CJ. So we were going, and he was like, "Dude, your hand feels so familiar." And if you guys don't know CJ Latu, he's easily one of the strongest 220s out there, and he just keeps getting stronger. So he's an up and comer. He's very young, very strong, very hungry. But I've had the benefit of pulling him, and he used to be Tony's training partner. But he was like, "Yeah, man, your hand is yeah,
Northern Colorado Arm's original 4. Mm-hmm.
Good dude." So yeah, it's the history that I have here is it only makes sense for this to be the match. You had the biggest dude who was the number 1 in Colorado for years, and he split and took off to California. Jeff Ames gave me you're definitely the biggest and strongest dude in Colorado right now. I've had a couple of matches just that weren't, put on YouTube or whatever that kind of solidified that for me. So I'm looking forward to old guard, new guard kind of thing. And it doesn't even have to be passing the torch, but it could be for Colorado. So
who was that you went against that kind of gave you that?
Well, there were 3. There was Fabian, and you had your match with Fabian in Arizona, and we've had our matches just tried and true in practice, which practice polls are practice polls, right? But a ready goes a ready go. Yeah. So that's how I take that. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. So.
Hey guys, I hate to cut you off, but I got to get going back to work.
No.
So I'll see you guys Saturday, and you guys have a good one.
Good luck, Paul.
Thanks for stopping in, Paul.
All right, bye-bye.
We're Team Newgard, Saray.
Hey, I'm okay with that. Like, hey, you've got a couple years on me. But I mean, I don't think it's interesting for me. Is when I jumped into sport, I hit everything. I want to learn everything there is to know about the sport. It's always evolving. All the pros that I've pulled, all the guys who've been pulling for years are like, "Yo, man, I'm still learning." I get on the table with somebody I've been pulling for 25 years. He does something that I've never seen before, that I've never felt before. I have to make an adjustment for that. So the sport itself has so many nuances, and I think that's the part that I fell in love with the most. Being that I can, I'm a big guy, and I can say, all right, I'm going to do a 150-pound pronation lift, and we're going to rep these out. And I look at a guy who's like, oh, I can't pick up 150 pounds, but he can stop me in a particular lane. So for me, it's little things like that. The little intricacies of the sport are why I'm in love with it, because it applies to everybody. Doesn't matter how big you are, doesn't matter how small you are. If you have something that you're good at, you focus at it, and you can stop the biggest dudes, everybody looks at you like, what the hell's going on? David Goliath, whatever. Started pulling with Isaac Luna. I'm sure most of you guys know who he is. It was the most awkward. The guy's 4'7", maybe 155 pounds.
He's a giant.
Getting stopped by this little guy. And it was humility at its finest. Like, what the hell is this? I can whoop somebody's ass, on the street kind of thing out of the equation. I can't beat this guy in just sheer strength, raw power. What's this? Technique. I love the sport. So I want to make it grow for Colorado. I'm looking forward to pulling Tony. You got the young cat over here. Looking forward to seeing how Jake performs against the two guys he's got going. I know it's a tall order for me. I don't give a shit. I'm giving 100%. And no, I'm not going to be like, you break my arm, you break my arm. I know when to concede kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to pulling you, Tony. So.
All right.
Are you coming out solo, or are you bringing any of your team with you or anything?
I've got a guy named Vince. He is known as the Hand. He's coming to pull. I don't know if there's lady pullers, but if there are, my girl's going to pull. She's, kind of making her way into the whole sport, slowly breaking out, but she's pretty good. She's had some really good matches with like Gabby Vasconcelos and Lee Aaron Wilson and stuff. So she's had some good matches with them. Megan Blake. So I'm looking forward to seeing if she might pull. If not, then she'll pull in Colorado State. But yeah, outside of that, I'm not sure. I hope a couple of guys, I don't want to speak for them, but I know for sure Vince is going to be there. And he's a really good dude. He's got some good wins over Scott Wynn, a few other guys. So yeah. And these are guys that again, with the club, I don't say that we are Colorado, but the guys that I pull with, Tony knows Vince very well also. But Vince pulls with me, Grant pulls with me. A lot of the guys represent Devil's Backbone pullers just because we all practice on a religious basis every Sunday at 1. So again, shout out to us. If you guys are ever in Colorado and Berthoud, every Sunday at 1, we host a practice. You guys are all more than welcome to come. And it's for anybody. Any for the newbies who want to test it out. We are not aggressive, especially if you're like, you walk out like, hey, I'm new on the table. I pulled on the kitchen table with my dad. I pulled on, whatever it is. But yeah, we welcome everybody. But Vince will be there with us for sure. Chantel Great Mountain, she'll be there with us. I'll be there. And then if a couple other guys roll out, it'll be awesome. I think Raul might. Raul Solis, he's another super heavyweight, but different caliber puller. Hard for some, really awkward short arm, but still strong. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I gotta go. I gotta wake up at 2 a.m. As usually the time I go to sleep. So
all right, Ronnie. See you Saturday, man.
And
see you this weekend, bro.
Hey, be ready, Jake. It's gonna be good.
All right, let's do it, dude. Good luck.
Right.
Thanks, Ronnie. All right. You know what? For the super heavyweights, I would love to see one day there be like a North American central location for a training camp specifically for the higher level super heavyweights, because it kind of seems to be the same in every state, city, town, or whatever team. There's just not a lot of guys for you to train with. You're almost always this. There's like one dude who's super heavyweight, kind of high level, and doesn't really have anybody to train with. And it would be awesome for you guys to have like maybe 2 times a year, some like week or 2 week long training camp you could go to where just all the heavy hitters would show up, not to compete, but to train together.
I'm actually working on that. So I own property out in Vitavue, which is in Wyoming. So it's Midwest to us, a little bit longer for the guys coming out of Ohio or, Iowa, that belt there, Indiana, that are also Midwest. But in Vitavue, we're going to have my shop that will have at least 4 tables for exactly that reason. And it'll start next summer. I pulled Ben Brooks. I pulled, I'm trying to think of the guys that are in the Midwest, Cody Merritt. Those guys who are willing to travel will come there and we'll pull. But it's kind of the same thing, like having super practice, but one where people can stay if they want to camp out kind of thing. I can't house everybody. But if they want to bring, RVs, tents, whatever, and they want to do their thing, I'm totally game to host that. I've got 40 acres of land. The shed is going to be, I think it's 40 by 80. Yeah. So it's a cool spot. And it's in the mix. So I tell everybody this, I love arm wrestling. I'm 39 years old. I'll be pulling masters next year. I don't have any ambition of being number 1 in the world, but I definitely want to be, number 1 in the US and have a run at some shit before I'm 50 kind of thing. I look at John Brzink still pulling whatever. So I'm still a baby in the game. Todd Hutchings has, started at 37 and he's still pulling and doing amazing things. I want to see the sport grow. I think that in the form of it being combat arms, this is a combat sport because the one thing that you're putting into it before you put your muscle into it is your heart. And I feel like every dude who steps on there, every female, whatever you are, who steps up there to compete, it takes a lot to compete number 1, and it takes even more to win. So I'm looking forward to hosting, big practices where we can get the Midwest together. I'd love to have Ben Brooks all the way down to Nate McCallan, who is hands down one of the strongest dudes I've ever pulled. Diamond in the rough. Looking forward to those guys getting together and pulling. Mega Mike, awesome dude. I've had the liberty of pulling him. He came out here to a Berthoud practice. Nate McCallan's come up here to Berthoud for a big practice. Corey Miller's attended. So our practices are drawing some names that everybody knows. But I want the sport to grow. Definitely. So I agree with that 100%. Look forward to hearing a little bit more about that. I would say probably spring of next year when it's all finalized. And then we'll start hosting some like big super practices versus matches. Don't make a difference. You could have super matches at a practice, because everybody's a ref, right?
Good stuff, man. That's cool. Yeah, I love hearing that. Yeah, a big old camp out, 40 acres. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'd come out there to do that for sure.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to do it.
I could make an excuse to come out to Colorado. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, this is Wyoming, but it's only, from where I live, it's about 50, almost 60 miles away.
Yeah.
So I'm 30 miles from Cheyenne, where I live now. And it's 20 miles north on 80 is where my land sits. So yeah.
Nice.
Not a bad drive.
Love it. Is it mountainy out there, or what's the landscape like?
I'm going to put the shed. It's mountainy. Yeah, it's mountainous. I would say more hills than mountains. You're not doing the switchbacks and weaving around through anything. So it's pretty straight. And then where I live now, I'm at the foothills. So it's just you arrive at Denver, you're going to drive flat, climbing elevation a little bit. We're slightly over a mile high. We're about 400 feet higher than Denver. Denver's a mile high city. So I think that's going to be the only thing that's advantageous for my stamina, going down to sea level. But I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. So I know what it does when you go up and versus come down. So looking forward to it.
That natural blood doping. Yeah, I live up in the mountains in Southern California, and but I'm like literally within an hour from most of the tournaments. So get to whenever we have the opportunity to like stay down there the night of, I pass that up. I'm like, no, we're driving the morning of down mountain to the tournament.
Oh, but you see, you're at the perfect advantage. Like if you're a drinker, you're at the perfect spot to be like, cool, yeah, match me shot for shot. Because the sea level is a different game, man. You're gonna put them to sleep, and you're gonna be like, I don't feel anything. Now we're out. No, that's awesome. Like you guys, California is awesome.
Are you a drinker, sir?
I hate to admit it, but yeah.
I'm just saying, after everything is done, we're gonna have to have some shots. And
100%. I don't mind being hungover on a plane. They have to deal with me. Right. So yeah, we're good. I remember Colorado. I bought you a couple, so I'm gonna come out there and you gonna buy me a couple. It's good.
San Diego after party. There's the spots right there on the strip next to the gym.
That's what I hear. Like, how far
to.
is it? How far is it from the airport to downtown? Like, we're still figuring out like little small whatevers, but
San Diego Airport?
yeah, because we're flying directly in.
It's probably only 30 minutes, if that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I didn't know if I wanted to rent a car or if I want to just Uber it over and just stay downtown and chill out.
Well, you might want to go and do some things, you know. So
Okay.
Yeah, babe. Dave's gym is downtown, right?
No,
Yeah.
well, his gym's off of Moreno Boulevard. I mean, yeah, it's like the outskirts.
Pretty close. Yeah.
It's not really like downtown San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're not walking out of gym, you know, the grinders and then right into Old Town San
No.
Diego. Okay.
No.
The gym isn't a cool spot, and there's like a couple barbecue spots right near there. Lots to do, really close or within an Uber drive.
Sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, Old Town's like what, 15 minutes away or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
About
making
that.
trips back out to California before the end of the year also. So I'm sure I'll be meeting a couple of you at a few practices before Christmas.
definitely gotta hit SoCal Arm Fest, dude. That's the place to be right now.
It's on the list. It's all post surgery for me. So I have surgery end of October, and then I'll be out until probably February, but then back at it. So yeah, like I've got a couple of tournaments I'm hitting before that. So these are the ones that I'm like, all right, let's rock and roll.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah, we've got Don Mormon in the chat. Answer my question if he was going to compete at the Kraken, and yeah, Don's saying no. He's staying in 176 and holding off for the San Diego World Series arm wrestling first week in November. Come on, Don. Yeah, I'm going to be coming in at 165, but I'm planning on competing with the 185 too. Come on down, man. Get some right. You had some left last time. Now come get some right. We got Scott Fossin in the house saying John, his mouth isn't that big, sadly, talking about Jake. Okay, and yeah, Don says that he's betting Robert Terry $1 that Tony's gonna win. I don't know, man. Don, that doesn't sound like you got a lot of faith in our man Tony. You gotta put up some more money than that. Come on, man.
It's an ongoing joke with him and
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
yeah, that Robert only wants to bet $1 for everything. So Don always tells him I'll bet $1.
Oh,
All right,
got
so
it.
$1 a million. All right.
Yeah, it's like 100 pennies, man. So we got yeah, Benjimac, he posted Brandon Allen's YouTube page. Everybody go check that out. And yeah, his Monday show. Who else we got in here? Devin's Forearm saying what's up.
Devin's Forearm's cool. I'm also Devil's Backbone Pullers. So
cool.
if you see that on there, that's what that is
you.
for the. Yep, that's us. So
nice. Yeah, I'm really interested in that practice, that super practice you're going to be doing next spring. I'm all about it, man. Yeah, keep me in the loop, and we'll blast that. See if we can make a big thing out of it for sure. Whenever
100%, it'll wind up looking like Burning Man, but hey, as long as not the fallout with the weird like rain and shit, but it'll look like Burning Man.
You know what? That'd actually be a cool idea. You could call it Burning Arm.
I know Burning Man came to mind when you were describing it.
That's actually not a bad idea. So
I know.
Stay tuned. All right.
That'd be badass.
nowhere to run came up with it first. So I'll give credit where credit's due. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Josh has some awesome ideas all the time. We've got Javier Martinez in the house, my teammate Javier. He's another super heavyweight that's got a lot of promise in this sport. Total beast. Yeah, Don says, yeah, $1 times are tough. We got Casey Stevens in here, the Grizzly. He wanted to know if Ronnie's doing the tournament as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. It looks like Casey wants some of that action. Let's see what else we got in here. Let's see. Esteban Leva says Jake looking like a Minecraft gamer with that streamlined setup. And
You know it, baby. You know it.
yeah, man. Esteban says Jake probably drinks Bud Light. Let's see. And then says, ask Jake why he can't pin 154-pound guys. Oh, okay. What's going on with you and this Esteban?
Esteban, that's one of my homies from Chicago. He usually hosts a pretty big practice. He just practiced with Travis out there because Travis has his son Tyson that's part of the Chicago Bears now. So Travis has been up in the mix up in there. Yeah, I guess Esteban got tired of me dad moving him, you know what I mean?
I see.
The video's out there, Esteban. Don't make me post it somewhere. Yeah, Esteban's a pretty tricky puller, man. He's got a
Post that shit, bro.
He's got a pretty crazy Kings move, so he's pretty sticky down near the pin pad for a 150-pound puller. But
explain that. How are you sticky at 154 pounds?
Right.
When I'm grabbing his arm like down here, you know what I mean? It can get pretty tough.
Your arm is longer than his femur. Just messing. You
That
little
dude's-
guys are sons of bitches.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
dude's a
those
stud.
short arms can be like pretty sticky, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
for sure. Let's see. So we've got my teammate Todd Calazo is in the chat saying what's up to everybody. Todd Calazo's just, one of my favorite people, and his son Elijah is definitely the future of the sport, man. That kid is working hard, very talented. Looking forward to his performance out in San Diego this weekend. Scott Fawson says Paul Italia can probably be everyone on this call. You heard it here first.
Please, I want some of that Vitacell
Let's make it happen,
biologics.
man. Let's make it happen.
Just like-
Yes.
Yikes.
All right.
Paul's
All
a stud, dude. Paul's a stud.
for sure, man. He needs to come up here and get some pro competition on, man.
Yeah, he's like Derek Smith, man. He protects his brand just a little too much, you know what I mean? He's afraid to lose. He's got to get up in that pro class mix, you know what I mean? But I'm sure he has plans to do that here soon. But we'll see.
He advertises it's going to be in December, but I mean that's a tall order, man.
Oh, I know.
It's a tall order.
Don't I know it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite the same with Derek. Derek definitely has a brand to be conscientious of, but when you're invited to Turkey to arm wrestle Morozov or Ravaz, that's you got to have balls to go out there and do that.
Oh, I know.
It's apples and oranges.
Yeah,
Paul,
100%.
Whoa, no. Definitely not shit talking Derek. I just want to see that dude compete more, man. Like, he is the fucking face of the super heavies along with Tony in California. Like, that dude needs to go on a crime spree across America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're all behind Derek for sure.
Yeah.
Well, to Esteban Levy, the guy talking all the shit, I've had the pleasure of gripping up with Ray, and that's not true. So you haven't made it to that. You haven't made it to that quite text yet, but that's not true. So
Esteban, that's that Russian dude, right?
well, Esteban Leva, I'm not sure. If it is, I'm going to say "Я плохо говорю по-русски." Esteban Leva, у тебя больше мускулая.
I'm pretty sure he's Mexican, but
Okay, well then.
but he probably speaks some Russian. Who knows?
Reminds me of that one dude in that one football movie where he comes in, he's all clean cut, he's all just football, and he ends up going to college and like running the whole program basically.
Esteban reminds you of that?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
And that dude is very, very strong and very crafty as well.
Yes, very crafty.
Mm-hmm. He's really good.
Well,
So, Scott,
he can show up then.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Scott Fossen says they just lucky all us Midwest boys didn't run away to Cali. Oh,
Who said
I've
that?
I've been doing nothing but inviting them out here, dude. I ain't seen any of them at a tournament.
Tony, the name is Scott Fossen.
Scott Fossen.
Scott, bring them Midwest boys over. Come on, man.
Tony, I got a guy in mind from Chicago that might want to match with you after Saray. I got a dude in mind. He's only been pulling for like a year and a half too. So if you want to beat up on the noobs again, I got a dude for you.
I have my eyes set on like Passmore. Like these guys are like right there, getting ready to jump in the elites. Like I need to be at that point.
I mean, you and Passport would be a good one. I love Paul's a good dude. Yeah. That's a good dude. He just had the match with Shane Owens. And that's actually one that piques my interest also. Paul is the first super heavyweight that I've ever met when I went to Arizona State last year. And he had the super match with Shane Owens. He beat Shane Owens. Shane Owens is a phenomenal dude, super strong, just beat by Talis Lawless. But I also beat Shane Owens, left hand, in Arizona State this year. So I'm chomping at the bit because if you don't get Paul, I like Paul. Paul's a good dude, and I pull people I like, not people I don't like.
Right.
So, yeah, Paul's on the list.
Texas. Robbie Burnett just won Texas State, and pretty convincingly, I guess.
I think you and Nate McCallum.
Him and I have had our battles.
Yeah, I think that you two would be a phenomenal match, and I think that Mega Mike would also be a good one for you in a super match setting, not just tournament setting, because I've been watching everything, binge watching, not gonna lie, because I'm preparing. But I think those would be two good also after, because I pulled both of them. So
me and Mega Mike have had our wars, but he usually wins right-handed, and then I usually win left.
Hey, he's not much for the left, but I same thing. I take him left. Right hand, he's a monster. Nate McCallum is equal, both left and right. That dude is in my opinion, it sucks when you get sucked into pulling the same circuit of people. And with the air system, I love the air system. Shout out to Corey Miller, great system. But if you never branch outside of the network of people you pull, it creates a way higher. You're up here for your ELO rating, so it's hard. But that dude,
he's good. He's good.
He's
definitely right hand.
Solid. Nate's solid.
Left hand, he's good too. I just have a winning record on him left-handed.
Yeah, for sure. We talked, man.
He beat me my first year. And
he was pulling 4 or 5 years before you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's that tendon strength that is established. So it makes sense. Like when you say it, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But to somebody else who's jumping into sport, like, oh, you started pulling in 2003. Yeah, you don't know what you're messing with. If I stayed consistent from 2003 to now, that's 20 years of solid,
absolutely
leather iron. Yeah, so no, that would be a good matchup. Like, but come down to Colorado State, man. Colorado State is going to be huge. I can't talk about it enough. It's going to be massive. Last year we had over 510 entries.
309, I believe.
309 pullers. 510 entries.
And it took 24 hours.
Right, but now we have the refs, and we have the refs now and an additional table. And I'll be down reffing. So I won't be pulling. But I'll be down reffing. So, we'll speed the process along. But like anybody who wants to come to Colorado State, in my opinion, anything in the Midwest, but Colorado specifically, we have the Air Force Base, we have the Army Base, we have, the big name colleges, whatever. Like we have a lot of guys that are transitioning over from whatever they're doing strength-wise to arm wrestling. Colorado is going to be at the forefront. It's on the precipice of being number one, but it's on the forefront of it being the pioneer state for really shooting arm wrestling to the top where everybody wants to compete. Because now we have schools interested. A lot of the guys that I have pulling for me right now at practice are wrestling coaches, literal wrestling coaches. And they preach about the dexterity that you have here. You're training so much in arm wrestling to have a dominant hand, to have a strong wrist, to have a good forearm, that when you think about shucking somebody on an arm wrestling mat, how that translates, the motions, everything you're doing, moving over. So these guys are implementing arm wrestling specific training into physical wrestling. So now they're trying to introduce it to their kids. So we're looking at, I would say, at least a dozen schools right now that are relative to my area that are introducing arm wrestling specific training. For that reason, you don't end up with arm breaks. You don't end up with, injuries to tendons when you get picked up and dumped back. You're reaching your arm out. Well, that tendon that sits here is strong enough to hold your body coming over, things like that. So I'm attacking this sport in a different animal, as a different animal, to promote it because it's phenomenal. Arm wrestling is amazing.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. The only thing I'm curious about though, Saray, is you're going to be down reffing. How's anybody in the crowd going to see the match when you have
so this is actually funny. Leonard Harkless put out this post about how refs need to be up, need to be down. Don't sit in a chair. You need to be professional, whatever, right? You remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
So my opinion, I wrote it on his post. It was honest about it. I said, it makes no difference. If I'm sitting down, I'm literally physically doing my job as the down ref, right? So you can have your little GoPro sitting here. If I'm sitting down and I'm watching the match, the GoPro's like, we'll say here, where the bicep is, right there, right? That's where the GoPro sits. I'm doing my job. I'm watching the person's elbow as it sits here. I'm watching them move toward me, move away, move up and down. If I see any light from that elbow come up because they left the pad, I'm calling the foul. I'm the down ref. That's my job. Everybody else is going to be able to see the same thing because they're looking past my head at the table. But if you're standing up, and I'm a big dude, to hinder your point, if I stand up, you don't see shit. You be yelling at me, get down, fat man, whatever you want to put out there, because I'm a big ass guy that's blocking your view of the entire match. So I did address that in Harkland's little post about how we need to be standing and look the same in uniform, whatever. It's no hate toward him. It's just saying, if you're a down ref, you need to be in the most advantageous position possible, which is sitting down eye level to what you're watching. If you're up like this at an angle where you're looking down, you're not going to see the literal hops that he is the one who advocates for WAF rules, no bobbling, if you can't gain position and blah, blah, blah. That's how you remedy those situations, is you put yourself in a literal perpendicular. I'm looking here, your elbow is here. If this moves up, you saw the light. Doesn't matter if you move half an inch, quarter inch, eighth of an inch, you're going to see it. So that's how it'll be at Corey Miller's Colorado State, where the down refs are going to be down in a position where it is advantageous for them to see where the fouls occur, and they'll call them as they see them.
Not to mention, you're not like squatted over, bent over, worried about your back or your knees.
You're
or some
sitting
shit.
down. You're sitting
you're
down.
comfortable sitting down at a perfect angle. Your
100%.
eyes don't care if you're in a chair or not.
100%. 100%.
It's kind of a cool topic because, like, I totally agree with everything that you're saying, that both of you are saying, but I also see it from the standpoint of the visual aesthetic of seeing someone sitting down in a chair that kind of presumably looks lazy. Like if I'm just in the crowd and I don't know about arm wrestling. So like I do see like all the sides of it. It's kind of a cool situation.
I agree.
You've done a lot of powerlifting, Saray, I'm sure. What are the judges doing during the powerlifting tournament?
They're literally sitting.
They're in chairs.
Yeah. Here's the why, and this is why it translates so well. If I'm doing a squat, my ass, my glutes have to be parallel to the back of my knee. And that's the thing that people don't understand. They're thinking hamstring, right? Well, if I have overdeveloped hamstrings, my hamstrings are going to sit down lower. They're going to be in the middle of my calf. You know what I mean? So you're going to have this crest. And that's what, so they're thinking, oh, the horizon. No, it's if my ass line matches the back of my knee line. It doesn't matter about the overdeveloped muscles that are in my legs. So it makes the most sense. if you're going to be in the most advantageous position, you're going to be in the one that gives you the most non-obstructed view of what you're watching. And because the sport translates so well, for powerlifters to come over into arm wrestling, they understand the rudimentary rules. Because it's very, like, if you think about arm wrestling as a whole, everything is very basic, right? If you're in this position, you can hurt yourself. Don't be in that position. If you're moving in this direction, now you're putting yourself in harm's way. Don't be in a position. For powerlifters, it's, hey, you can't lift that way, dumbass. Don't fucking squat that way. And you're like, okay, cool, no problem. So it makes sense. So I think the next wave, the next generation of arm wrestlers are definitely going to be rock climbers or powerlifters, because they understand, hey, don't put yourself in that position. And they go, okay. They don't care why. They just hear the ref say, don't do that. And they go, okay. And they move to it. So it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
get the whole like professionalism side of it, and like that, you know, that people want to see them stood up or squatting or moving around or whatever.
Right.
I get it, and I have you know, I guess compassion for that particular outlook, I guess, and it makes sense. But you know, for me, like, I'm not, as an athlete and somebody that or a spectator, I'm not really interested in what the down ref is doing or how they're positioned in terms of like aesthetically. I'm more concerned about what is the most neutral position for them to be able to call elbow fouls, pretty much, and be neutral from match to match. So there's a lot of you know, refs that are at the top of their game that are stood up and they know how to stay out of the crowd's sight, and they make, for the most part, pretty good calls. But I can't help wonder if it was something more consistent and neutral, sitting in a chair or something like that, where they're always going to be more focused just on that eye level, if we would get more consistency. Because, dude, I've won matches where I knew, like, I elbow fouled, you know, maybe even bad. Like, and I think it was missed because that down ref just happened, you know, they're doing all this stuff and they just happened to move like at the wrong angle as we're moving, and they didn't see that elbow foul, you know. Like, maybe would they see it if they were just, you know.
I think this is, I think that Devin Laird is hands down the ambassador of our sport. But I think that if I were to employ the same tactics, because I believe that I know what he's doing, to know your positional awareness and know where the placement of your ref is as you're rising up, as you're moving sideways, as you're coming back, as you're carving in, all these things are being done in the absence of frame.
Right.
So I feel like if you neutralize that in particular, you're going to have less matches where the opponent that you're going against is, well, he's not holding my hand, he's not doing this, he's not whatever. It neutralizes that and says, get a grip. If you take too much time getting a grip, it's get a grip. And it eliminates that part of Devin's game, right? And I think that he's a phenomenal arm wrestler. But I think that the showmanship is different. You know, like, it's, I'm gonna exploit everything I can, and he admits that he does exactly that. So when you have a neutral ground where, if everybody is the standard, this is where we are, we all operate the same way, then everybody's going to take grips like, I don't know, fucking Dave Chafee and Hermes. They're going to put their hand there and they're going to wait for you to grab it. And they go, I don't like it. When the ref gets to decide, okay, fine. Move your forearms in, get a little bit more rigid, move your shoulder in. We're taking our grip. We're doing our thing. But if you're like, oh, we'll let it up to the athletes, then the athlete's going to exploit whatever it says it's not. And the other side to it is, when we're very fortunate that Tony and I don't have like contract negotiations or anything else. I feel like that Tony and I would be like, just get a fair grip.
That's it.
Right? Like, just put your hand out. We'll get a grip. We'll close our hands and we'll move from there. And it removes all of the other weird exploits of, well, your hand height, your webbing is high. You put your hand out there and you close your hand. You're ready to arm wrestle when you close your hand. I don't care about all the other weird whatever semantics that you're trying to pull. So I feel like having a positional stance that is a standard for a down ref and an up ref
Yeah.
is 100%, because the up ref is watching the person who is looking at him, meaning the palm that's facing toward the up ref, the palm that's facing toward the down ref. That down ref is watching this elbow, the up ref is watching this elbow. Pretty simple, but then we get lost in these weird semantics.
Yeah.
But we train semantics. Like that's very important. We train semantics in all of our every Sunday. We train semantics. So if I decide I'm going to line up on this side of the table, or I'm going to line up on this side of the table, my guys know how to attack differently based on that. Because you're fighting something different than just the person you're pulling. You're fighting the ref at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a part of the sport for sure. So, yeah, the down ref is definitely something that I feel like can cross over in very simplistic ways from organization to organization. It's the up ref where it gets a bit tricky, especially when we have so many separate promotions. Along with those different promotions is going to come different head refs with a different role set, a different judgment system, and everything like that. So it's tricky business.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have standardization with any sport, right? So it's like we harp on, we have all these rules while you're on the table, the size of the table, the size of the elbow pads, all this stuff. But then the down ref, he can just do whatever he wants. No standardization whatsoever, Like, doesn't make any sense.
The only caveat I'm going to say for this my argument, because I've thought about it for so long, is this is actually advantageous for Tony. We have absolutely enormous forearms, elbows, what we're doing on that plane, it breaking the plane. To me, if you were to institute what it was in the 80s, where it was a rounded pad that you sat on, and so long as your elbow tip never broke the plane of that rounded pad, that makes it fair the entire time. Because big dudes get in a situation where the little guy can maintain contact the entire time, but the big dude can't, no matter what.
And then because of our elbows. So see that point right there? That is my elbow. When I'm on the table, that doesn't go past that pad. But it's like when they tell me I'm actually elbow fouling when I'm right here. When this goes off the back of the pad, I'm elbow fouling.
See, Tony had a marble installed right here.
Yeah.
But that's fact. It's like my elbow on a pad that's 7x7 or 8x8, depending on where you go. My elbow protruding out in any particular lane is where they call the foul, and I'm like, that's not right. If I'm inside the area, that should be legal. Well, if you have a rounded pad, then it's not, that there's no question. It's gone. Because a rounded pad will allow us to roll out the dude. And I say it this way. Arm wrestling is a Mandingo sport. It's a Mandingo sport. You want to see the biggest cockstrong, whatever, however you want to put it. The biggest dude, which is why you have the largest amount of participants in the heavier weight classes. And that's why everybody looks at the right hand. It's a global thing, weird phenomenon. What is it, 75-23 or 77-23, where it's right hand dominant versus left hand. You remove that as the precursor. Large framed arm wrestlers are what people want to watch. You look at gladiator sports, the big dudes are the ones you want to see out there fighting lions and all this other shit. That's what draws the attention. That's why strongman competitions are so huge in getting them into the sport. It doesn't matter if later on in the future, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, you're going to have dudes in a 112 weight class fighting it out. It doesn't matter. The big dudes are the ones that pave the way, right? So if you're fighting over the smallest tip of the elbow coming out, and that's what causes the match, I'm sorry, Jerry and Hermes would have been different.
Dude, I would have so had Larry Wheels in the Mexicali if that wouldn't have happened.
Right, the same thing. It's the same thing. Is you look at the big dudes that are doing it. I beat who the fuck was it? The strict curl champion of the world.
Leroy.
Leroy Walker. I didn't have to beat him. He was beating himself. He couldn't pin me, and I just tapping his arm, shoving him off the back of the pad. They didn't call it. I was like, why aren't you calling it? They couldn't see where the tip of his elbow was, so he's back here on the pad. So his elbow's hanging off the front. I could see it. We could see the darkness of the here, whatever. That's what I'm challenging. I feel like if you make it a neutral point saying, this is the standard, this is where we are, this is how we operate, this is how we arm wrestle, and you make it ubiquitous for top ref and down ref, there's no question. Because your down ref should never challenge the top ref. If the up ref is like, no, he's fine, and the down ref is like, no, it's a foul, he's out, he lost, what is the point of the up ref?
Well, from my understanding there, the up ref, like the main objective is to start the match, and once the match starts, they're equal, right?
But the up ref should always be looking at the palm facing them, meaning he's looking at the elbow of the person who's facing him. The down ref is looking at, so if the top ref is like, all right, ready, go. He's watching everything for this palm facing him. Right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it was, that cut and dry and the up ref and down ref just watch, the one hand that they're supposed to watch. Yeah, it's much easier that way. And it's kind of like the Bill Walsh with the Niners, you play better as a team. You as long as you play your position, you don't have to worry about picking up slack for the next guy. So
100%,
yeah, I
100%.
totally agree with that.
I just feel like if we isolate what those rules are, instead of allowing, one, the down ref should never call a pin if it's on the up ref side.
Yeah, I really like the idea of with the pads, taking the WAL pads, and who was it that said instead making it expanding an inch on both sides instead of just
it was Devin Larrett, actually. Yeah, it was Devin Larrett.
It makes a lot of sense when we
WAL pads expanding those.
Well, they extended them backwards, but they never extended them forwards.
Square.
Yeah,
making
instead
them
of adding 2 inches to the back, splitting the difference and adding an inch to the front.
Oh, okay.
To the back.
Okay. So
Making
making
them
it
square.
an 8x8 instead of a 7x9.
Exactly, making it square.
And when we see these matches, these frustrating setups with like Devin and Hermes, you got long arm and short arm. I get just as frustrated seeing a lot of the antics with Devin, the situation, but I also kind of understand it because he doesn't have a lot of room on that pad. And his biggest complaint is they're always having to bring him down to them and drive him to the back of the pad and have of his elbow, having no room to travel. So Hermes has more options on that, Mazurenko table than Devin's going to have. And so for that comment, not only for two long arm, long levered, large guys going against each other, but when you have that kind of offset dynamic too, giving a little bit more room on that pad, I think kind of creates not just more options, but levels the playing field maybe a little bit. So like you were saying, like the donut pads, I could see that it's more in like a grip and rip kind of way. But if you had those evenly distributed WAL like pads, those two guys could actually revolve around, those two big guys, long levers could revolve around that pad like us smaller guys are, fully utilizing it when you rarely get that opportunity to do that.
Well, I mean, it's either that or you establish freedom arm wrestling, which I don't think any big dude would be for unless you have like this massive, I can lock here and it then becomes I'm traveling where we travel. So we actually do a lot of freedom arm wrestling in our practice for that reason, but it has to do with taking a grip. So it has nothing to do with your posting and moving. It's I'll grip up with the guys, they'll grip up with me, and we're up here floating around until we feel comfortable in our hand. And then from there, then it's setting down. And then it's turning the shoulder in. and then it's moving from that point. And we do it because it puts you in weird gray area. It puts you in areas that you're uncomfortable with, that you don't know how to move, but you're comfortable with where your hand is. You're not comfortable with your forearm is. So you sit down and you're posted, you're ready to go, you move. So it's different, but I think that having the pad come to even a taper to where it levels off to the table height would be more than enough. It doesn't have to be a ring, but if you stay in this area, you're still legal. Devin's issue is I can put my elbow forward, tilt my hand forward. I'm maintaining elbow integrity on my height, but he's not center table. Then he's like, don't tilt my hand down. Well, you have to tilt your hand down to get to center table. And he gets mad about it. That's a big man issue versus a little man issue.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen,
Get
I
it.
gotta get going. Thank
Same.
you.
Same. I got to teach class in the morning.
All right, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on here. And it looks like Benji posted a few more channels on here. Thank you so much for the assistance, Benji. Thank you everybody in the chat for tuning in. This has been an awesome show. Guys, yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you, Saray.
Same, Kane. You're awesome, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Tony.
you too, Josh, Tony. Yeah,
Always a
you're the
pleasure.
man, bro.
Good to meet you,
We'll
Jake.
see you guys on Saturday.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'll
I'm
see you
looking
guys
forward
next
to it.
week.
All right, my man. We'll see you later.
Prepare
All right,
yourself some
y'all.
fireworks.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, guys.
You
Catch
as
you later.
well.